Welcome to another edition of Autistic on Tour. I am back at Kew Gardens doing the spring edition. It's a hell of a lot busy. Also, no one actually can read what time things are opening because everyone expects to get in about 9. Apart from me, who knew what the schedule was. But yeah, going to try and see a little bit more things and at least, see the gardens when it's a little bit more alive. It's a lot more stressful because there was about 100 odd people waiting outside, so I'm just trying to get speedy and out of the way of those people for the time being. I'm going to go through, try and do a similar path of what I did last time, and there might be some more planes because of course the time of year. But yeah, things are starting to pick up and be a bit more lively. So yeah, not sure how long this video will be, but I hope you enjoy it. Well, you can definitely tell that the flowers are out and about. I mean, the amount of pollen and the smell of flowers that you get, quite a lot. So, all the daffodils. Now, the question is, do I go to things like the temperate thing when it's early, so my ability to actually be walking in there and it'd be reasonably quiet? Might do that, actually. Let's go into the temperate building and then we'll go back around, actually. Yeah, let's do the temperate building first and see that, but that's not going to actually really change that much, so let's just go and see what we've got else new. I'm sorry to have the sun directly there, it's just where it's positioned at the moment. But yeah, the temperate building you can see on my other video because that's not changed very much. So because it's a greenhouse, so it's not going to change. But other things will. Okay, so that gallery is the thing we've got to the gallery I went to before with the pots is not open because of course they're changing from one thing to another, so that's one thing we don't have, which is fine. Let's have a look, see what else we've got. We're in a north gallery, which should be it's open on the doors. In there, but it's definitely worth looking. It's I mean, I think it's just because it's just open, there's no one in there, but there's some really good interesting art about, the people have put together with flowers, so or specimens and things like that, so it's worth a go. A reasonable amount of the buildings that are in Kew are part of the owned by the heritage things, so so if they're open or not, it's going to be that. It's usually the buildings of Queen Charlotte and things like that. I believe it's the Queen Charlotte will only be open on bank holidays and weekends. They don't open them usually because it's volunteers that run it, so that's one thing to note. Have the coda right off in the distance. I'll go closer to it at some point, but yeah, you can see it kind of on the camera, and the trees are still doing a little bit of work to do it. Quite a lot of daffodils in the middle between the trees, which of course is a lot where naturally, from what I remember, they actually grow. They kind of grow underneath those kind of things. But yeah, as I say, I'm just trying to keep away from the people. I'm hoping that lots of them stay at the big things and then just have a wander. So, but yeah, all the green at the bottom with all the daffodils. With tiny little bits of yellow, but the camera is not particularly smart at picking it up. So. But as you can tell, there's quite a lot of shade in this section of the gardens. As I said, I'm basically kind of trying to do a very similar route than what I did before. One, because it shows the same kind of thing, and it gives a different it's different in winter and spring, I think. So, I mean, I quite like it because there's got a lot of shade around this area, but I think it's trying to imitate woodland, so you expect there to be a lot of that kind of thing. So, but yeah, there's a lot of daffodils. At least my hay fever hasn't come up yet. I can tell. I'm slightly struggling with the smell of the flowers, but I always do. So, but you know, it's something you just need to accept, and it's something you can't really, sensory-wise, you can't really remove. You can remove the sound of the planes, you can remove everything else, but actually, the smell of things is difficult to remove to me anyway. At least I've never been able to do it when it smells really, unless leaving the room. But then, of course, if you're walking through a garden, you're going to have a lot of this. So. The thing with Kew is it has multiple entrances, so when you think there is actually a little bit of space and things, and then you get to another entrance and everyone swarms in from there, so don't necessarily always have a space because there are multiple entrances. But I'm doing okay at the moment, but I've only been here for a very short period of time. As I said, I'm going to do the sweep of what I did before, and then if it just stresses me out, I might go somewhere else. But you know, we'll see how long I can last here, because it's going to get busier as it goes along, as it is generally a nice day. But you know, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if the cottage is open. If not, then at least we'll know. So, it's probably where all these people are trying to go. But it'd also be very nice if I wasn't walking with the sun directly behind me. But yeah, let's try and go to the cottage, and if that's open. If that's not, it still should be an interesting thing to see everything else that's grown up around it since we've been there last. All the bins is because they did a 5k, 10k race around Kew before I arrived, so they'll probably be clearing them out at some point soon. Okay, so we've got to Queen Charlotte's cottage. Probably not open. Doesn't look like it because no one else is down here, which is generally a big clue. But let's at least see it in the daylight. Yeah, so yeah, it's still currently closed. You can scan a QR code to see it, but yeah, so that's still out of action. It probably will be later on in the season, so bits and pieces. I mean, the only thing they've really changed is put a thing up on the grass, so people can't just walk directly on. Just keep going round and seeing what has changed and what's not. Well, birds are definitely trying to make a bit of a noise. We did the woodland walk last time, so let's do it again. And everything's looking a little bit more alive than it did before. So things are still building up, so there's still gonna be, it's green, but it's not necessarily got, you know, flowers or anything, or berries or anything on it yet, quite yet. But I mean, lots of this looks like brambles at the moment. I'm probably wrong on that, but it's just that kind of look to it. And as I say, it's quite nice, cool and relaxing and everything, so, which is kind of what you want from a woodland walk, something just kind of calm, and the odd aeroplane going over, but yeah, so, because there are still signs for what everything is, but then of course some things are not going to be quite out and about yet, like the conifers. I think it's still too early for lots of those kind of things to pop up and look interesting, so and always the good thing about Kew is there's always places to have a sit down, or the ability to do that, which sometimes if you just want a nice space like this and just want to chill, then you can do that, because there are still loads of benches and stuff around to do that. But yeah, as I say, it's a quite calming thing. I mean, it's just the stress of waiting with everyone outside as much as anything. And as I say, when we get back into the spaces where everyone in them, probably a bit more stressful. But I will let people know about that, or show people that as it goes along, because we're in now. It's in that wonderful thing of being in a space that's actually big enough that you can be in your own little bubble without other people being around quite yet. Which, you know, how often do you get that in London? Very rarely, unless it's your own house. Little bug houses, or beetle houses, even, or ants. To me, I would definitely say that spring is definitely more stressful with people and stuff like that. Also, you have to deal with the sensory issue of flowers and stuff, which, you know, makes sense, because it's basically the time when flowers wake up and say, hello, I want to become a flower somewhere else. So, you know, or pollination as what it is known as. But yeah, as I say, this is a bit more stressful, but, you know, not sounding is packed to the doors at the moment, so, you know.
Waterfall is